And I wanted to ask you about just your start on Saturday. You started up 12 for 13. It seemed like you were making all kinds of correct reads and put the ball really, great placement and everything like that. I guess what was that start like, and then going through the frustration of that second quarter?
Yeah, we knew what they were going to do when we came out. First play. So when you know what they're going to be, it's easy to execute. They're a good football team. They made some good adjustments throughout the game. They ran a little bit more man to man, trying to stop the receivers making plays. So I really put that on me. I should have checked some more runs to Taj, obviously. In the two-man look, we have a good box. But we were rolling at the start. I just gotta when we're rolling, and they adjust, we gotta adjust back. So I got to be better in that aspect, for sure.
Josh was asked this question as well, but how did you as a quarterback adjust to the slippery conditions?
Yeah, I played football at Eastland High School, and we had grass, and when you step foot on that field, you can't see the bottom of your foot. So, I was kind of used to it, playing 3A ball. You don't get to play at all the nicest stadiums. We played on a lot of grass. So, I wasn't really affected by it. I was kind of getting back to how it was in high school. But for sure, you get to play at all the nice facilities with the nice grass. Going into Ames, every time you play there, you got to be prepared for that for sure.
Right on I think it was the RPO, the bang 8 to Jordan Brown that got you guys down to the 1 on the final drive. It seemed like you floated that, and it seemed like their defenders were ready to bat that down.
Mm-hmm.
They did earlier in the game, I believe.
Yeah.
I guess was that something that you
Yeah.
saw or was trying to?
I knew for sure. Hands were going to be up, but as soon as I went to go throw, that ball slipped out of my hand, and I was like, man, I just got to get it there somehow. And same thing with Mason on the pop pass too. That ball towards the end of the game got really wet. But it kind of turned out in our favor. I'm just glad JB made that catch.
Can you kind of take me through like that 24-hour period from when you get hurt at TCU and they think you might have broken your collarbone? What were you thinking? Was it kind of like, oh, is it happening again, until you realize, oh, it's okay now?
Yeah, I felt not great, but at the same time, we had to go win a game, and so I was trying to be the best teammate I could, coming out of halftime. Will played great. That dude is always going to be ready for sure. He's going to have a legacy at Texas Tech that's going to be remembered. But at the same time, I kind of knew that there was something wrong, but when we got the MRI results the next day, I knew I was going to be all right. And try to prepare the best I could for Iowa State. Really excited for this week too, and just trying to prepare for that.
Was kind of what I asked Josh, was there a moment throughout camp where you felt like, okay, this is my guy, I trust him, we have this connection?
Yeah, all the guys, Josh is a vet, and he understands the ins and outs of, just college football. So I knew, once we clicked, it was going to be good. With the other guys too, obviously, y'all know I have a good connection with Coy. And CD has been producing, the last couple of games really well. It's going to be a big week, a lot of man coverage. So excited to see the guys go work, and for me just to give them a chance.
Behren, how satisfying is it to have a final game-winning drive like that on your resume, especially considering it was wet, it was raining, you had the all false starts in that drive, and you still.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I called up the O-line, and I told them, the hat's on our head. Defense is playing great tonight. We got to go show complimentary football. That's what we preach. Even at practice throughout the week. So I kind of just said, hat's on our head. Defense is playing great. We got to go do our job now. And that really happened on the drive before the 98-yard drive. We were saying, they had a great punt, and we were saying, what would be better for a 98-yard touchdown? And then they go score again. What's even better with a game-winning drive? That just speaks volumes of the kind of guys that we have on our team. And that starts from the head coach and what Coach McGuire preaches every week.
Was there anything you took from that Kansas drive that you led last season into this one? I know it's kind of situational, but
yeah, no, yeah, for sure. The same kind of thing. We started out hot against Kansas, kind of dead in the second half, and then that final drive we just kind of grit down and just did our job. I think that just goes back to our preparation. I know a lot of guys say that on our team throughout the week, but we get put in those situations. We're still doing 2-minute drill in the middle of the season. A lot of teams don't do that, but situational football, that's what wins games. And so to be good in situational football, you got a good chance of winning.
Could you talk a little bit about what the Colorado defense does and even what makes Travis Hunter such a good corner?
Yeah, I mean, that dude is very twitchy. He's real quick to drive. He has great feet. All those DBs too. Up front too, they got a great D-line coach. They're gonna bring the house sometimes. So just seeing the defense pre-snap, understanding where safeties are. If there's two high, there's one high. What kind of box we have, we got to get Taj rolling. So just seeing things pre-snap, I think that's the biggest thing this week, and understanding what kind of coverage they're in before the ball's even snapped.
You've been with Taj for a while now, and just knowing that he's potentially a game away from getting this record. How big was this, just looking back and just the lead up to this point?
Yeah, it's really cool. Taj has kind of been my running back since I've been in college, and I mean, a lot of guys don't get a running back like Taj, and so to see the growth of just his career has been really cool. That dude earns every bit of respect that he has. He's a great player, but just a great person to be around, and so see all the accolades and all the praise that's come to Taj. I wouldn't pick anyone else on our team to get that.
Coach Perry touched on this as well, but what's it going to mean to you to have him finally break that record here at home?
Yeah, I mean, Lubbock loves Taj Brooks, and we all love Taj Brooks, and so when that moment does come, I've heard we've had some special plans for him. I think it's going to be a fun night for Taj, not just for Taj. I mean, for the whole line too. It's not just Taj making guys miss. He has some holes sometimes, and I think it's praise to Coach Kitley, all the way down to everyone. Everyone's kind of breaking this record, so it's pretty cool.
Behren, what's your thought on being across the field from Deion Sanders?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, to get this opportunity, I think that's the word that I'm going to preach to the team this week. We put ourselves back in this opportunity to contention to go to the Big 12 championship, and so it's going to be a fun environment for sure. With the new uniforms, big noon kick. But we got to keep the main thing. That's playing our brand of football and understanding. Throughout this week, we got to have a great prep and practice, and then come Saturday, just play our brand.
On the final drive again, last play, Zach said the other day that he just added that on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that receiving pod just to the left. What was kind of your view of how that play developed, and what did you think when you heard that call come in?
Yeah, as soon as he called it, we've been repping it all week, and we actually had a play last week against TCU where we lined up same formation. I'm still at quarterback though, but a lot of guys roll out to the left real quick, one receiver out wide. So they're probably thinking more of some trickeration was coming. Obviously a false start. They got some momentum back. So Coach Kitley to call outside zone to the right, away from where everyone thinks the ball is going from. I mean, a great call. Jalen made a great block. But from my point of view, as soon as I saw Taj and I saw Jalen get that guy sealed, I was like, man, Taj is going to make that one guy miss. I already know that. And when he walked in, I was really worried about the 2-point conversion coming up next. But, that just relief of, doing our job and, in a crunch time situation to go get that, game-winning drive was awesome.
I know we've talked about Taj and his run game, but as you probably looked at several times on film, knowing that especially late in the game, he had 2 really big blocks to protect you for that. Just how he is as a pass protector as well, just adds to his resume.
Yeah, I mean, we call him the security blanket for a reason. If someone doesn't miss their block up front, Taj is always right there to stuff it. He's just a all-around good football player. He isn't one-sided of running the ball downhill. He can also pass block. I mean, people see that too. That's really going to help him out with the draft process next year.
How important for you guys is it to not get caught up in everything that's going on this week, especially coming off of the
Yeah, I mean, we started off hot in Big 12, going 3-0, and momentum now, we don't really see momentum. You know, we really just see, you know, who's going to be the best team at 3 o'clock in the Jones. And so I think, you know, all the guys, you know, it's really cool to have Big Noon and all that, but at the same time, you know, when that ball's kicked off at 3 o'clock, you know, it's just time to play football. And, you know, I think Coach McGuire's already done a great job of preaching that this week. You know, it's just another game that we got to go win.
We got time for one more, guys.
Did you see Joey get hit in the head?
I did. I was actually right in front of it, and I saw the trash can, you know, go up in the air, and I was like, oh, man, this isn't going to be good. And sure enough, I mean, it hit him really hard, too, and I was like, that's not the time. But, you know, Joey, I mean, he took it like a champ, and about 10 seconds after that, he called up the team, gave one of his pregame speeches, and we went out there, and I was like, man, that's awesome, you know, that he can do that. So, praise to him.
After the win, you saw Joey got a little choked up in that postgame interview. What was the conversation you had with y'all when you got in the locker room? Was it as emotional?
Yeah, man, that was that was insane. You know, just the grit from the team. You know, we failed the 2 teams that we should have beat for sure. You know, and so just to have this resilience of this team, just to, you know, battle back, you know, on the road, cold, wet, rainy, all the above. You know, just to, you know, find a way to win that game. You know, it really speaks about our culture and what we're building here.
Thank you, Behren.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Behren.